Okay, so next, welcome to our next speaker, Steven and Canver. Oh, Steven is me, yeah, okay. So, hello everyone, thanks for being here. Today, our talk is called Unveiling IoT Vulnerability from Backdoor to Bureaucracy. We are not here to share something big vulnerability like in the smart Bluetooth or something. Instead, we want to talk about the hidden backdoor in IoT device and what happened when we try to tell company about them. We test more than 30 devices and report over 50 CVEs. We will share what's like to tell the company about this problem and how often they ignore, delay, or say, oh, it's not a real issue. If you want to deep hacking trick, check the main track later, but if you want to hear the real IoT research works, stay with us. Yeah, if you are interested, please talk to us after the talk. We love to sharing the IoT security things. Okay, so yeah. Let's start with something interesting and scary. Most people think IoT security is about stopping hacker, but what if the backdoor is already open? Many devices has hidden backdoor from the manufacturer. No hacking is needed. Just plug in the device and you can get inside. We often think the company will fix the serious bug, right? Sometimes they do, but often they ignore it. They delay fixing or say the bug isn't real. It's not always because they are bad. Sometimes it's because money or the company rule or just not caring about it. This is really happened. One vendor refused to fix the bug in their old product. They say, oh, the product is end of life, so we won't fix it. But that just cost the 30 million in one day. So maybe it's not a good decision, right? Hi everyone again, I'm Steven, and you can call me Chiao-Lin or Steven. I'm a security researcher at Trend Micro Rating in Taiwan. And this is Wang, and he lead the R&D and security team in the CHT security in Taiwan. We both work on IoT security and have shared our research at many conferences around the world. We are from Taiwan, a big marker of IoT devices. You have all heard about scary IoT story, but today we want to show the real problem. We test over 30 devices and publish more than 50 CVEs. We will share what we learned and why reporting bug is often hard. Today, we will talk about how we get the IoT research first to get the firmware and the backdoor we found it. What happened when we report a bug and the important lesson you can use. For IoT security, you must look at everything, the device, the system, and the firmware. Our first step is always to getting the firmware. We get the firmware in different ways. For example, just download from the official website or capture it during the update, taking it directly from the device, or use the remote code execution to get it and from the chip. Some companies put the firmware update on their website for anyone to download. But of course, they try to protect it. Let's have some fun. Can you spot the encryption with your hacker eyes for this firmware? Okay. This firmware looks a lot of 0x31 padding. So this shows us was the XOR encrypt with the 0x31. We use this to unlock it. Yeah. Some vendors use the OTA update and think they are secure, but often they skip important checks like the certificate verification. Why? Device might not update for years, and the certificate expire. To avoid problem, vendors keep the validation. As long as this happens, man-in-the-middle attack will still work for many years. Within the SSL interception tool, it's easy to see the OTA traffic. Here, we capture the real firmware update like this. If other models fail, we dump the firmware from the device itself. We look for the serial port like the U-boot. Some board even label the TX and RX pin. Here's a tip. Send the device to ask them to repair. Then check if the solder mark appear. Repair engineer sometimes did a pin for debugging, and the marks can help us to connect it. Yeah. Some U-boot function that you can import or export data, and we also can use this to get the firmware. If you have RCE, it's much easier. You can use something tool like the BusyBox or the Netcat to get a firmware or upload your own script. Many devices store a local firmware copy for the reset or recovery. But how do we get the RCE in the first place? IoT device has many layers to put together, and this often leads to the command injection bug. Yeah. Here's a real command injection bug we found. It's almost 2025, but this problem still exists. Sometimes simple semicolon is all you need. Okay, every device has bug, but what surprised us most were the backdoor. This was not from hacker. They were built in from the manufacturer. Backdoor exists for many reasons. For example, the debug feature left in the code. Old code and nobody care about it. Feature for the internal access or badly update tool. Many IoT devices reuse code from other vendors. Sometimes, backdoor comes from these older sources. When we find a backdoor, we will test it on the other device too. Many share the same hidden access. Sometimes reverse engineering a backdoor show us who really make these devices. Everyone knows the default passwords are unsafe, and most vendors try to avoid that. But some device has a hardcore super admin password, but the user cannot change it. If you check the IoT device, you may find a strange user account in the password file. This account don't appear in the user interface and can be managed by the user. Here's an example. We found a hidden account name called Xindian. It is the name of the vendor's headquarters location. You might think, okay, the vendor knows the password, other doesn't know it, so it might be safe, but it's not true. We often find the password algorithm in the firmware, so we can reverse engineering and no brute force is needed. And sometimes it's even funnier. The device had a hardcore encryption key. A key is a slogan from the famous Taiwanese firm Adult Board. Because when building a security product, obviously it's a password you choose it. Yeah. Some devices use the UPnP share much more information than they should. Some UPnP ports are left open on the internet. No authentication, no worrying, just open. Sometimes debug services like ADB are left out by mistake. It should be turned off before the device is sold, but sometimes people forget it. Sometimes telnet live running on a device. And the vendor say, no, there's no telnet. But actually, telnet is enabled. We test it and we log in. That's it. Yeah. And the vendor say, oh, it's not for user, it's for the remote control. But does that really make it safe? And when we check the app, we found the telnet password hardcore in plain text. It shows the IoT isn't just about the device. You need to look the whole system, whole environment, whole ecosystem. What if the telnet isn't open on the device? No problem. We found a hidden API that can turn the telnet back on. If the vendor closes one door, sometimes another one is still open. No open port, that's okay. A backdoor can also be a hidden CGI script, not just a service. When the guy closes a port, he opened a hidden CGI, maybe. The password was hardcoded in a hidden file that's not really hidden if you know where to look it. And sometimes the device have API paths that are not shown in the document. There are no link, but the path still exists by reverse engineering. This hidden path let us download the full configuration file. Inside, we can find the username, password, and other sensitive information. And sometimes vendors don't even try to hide it. One device had a path actually named backdoor, just in a plain sight. Yeah. And some IoT device let you to manage app. This sounds useful, but this app can often do much more than they should. Many IoT devices use the cloud control with the MQTT, but vendor often hardcode MQTT username and password into the device. Sometimes they even send it in plain text. Once inside, you can subscribe to all topics and see everything. You might start with one device, but soon you can access the device from all over the world. Not every device has the obvious backdoor, but many secretly send the sensitive data back to the vendor. You won't see this unless you check the network traffic. Here's a quick recap of the backdoor. Backdoor can show up in any product, no matter the country or the company. Sometimes they are for maintenance. Sometimes they're just left by the accident. We need to check strict review for more openness. Yes, next part for the canvas.
Okay, so we found some vulnerabilities, and what do we do next? Electrical hacker, we report them, and honestly, that's when the real challenge starts. Okay, in a perfect world, vendor reply fast, and they thank you, fix the bug, and all is good. But in real life, it's much more complicated. And here is the example. In the September 2024, we reported a critical RC bug to the TW CERT. And this device was used in many Taiwan government networks, and we asked the TW CERT to tell the vendor and help get it fixed. And over the month later, and they reply, this device is end of life, so we won't fix it. Okay, that was it, thanks. Okay, and the vendor finally shared the advisor, but only after we made it public. And we understand fixing all the products isn't always worth it for them. But users still need to know if a product is a risk, they should be able to protect themselves. But the same model, there are still about 60,000 units online today, and that means 60,000 devices are still at risk. And here's the kicker. A few months later, we found another model. Yes, and it had the same firmware and the same bugs and the first one, but the vendor only covered the original model. They ignore this twin brother. Okay. And we saw the same things with Zycel. We found a bug in the old device and reported it. And their answer, okay, sorry, it's end of life, no fix. Okay, sound familiar? Yes, but that wasn't the end. Zycel is a CNA. That means they can manage their own CVs. Since they ignore this bug, we couldn't get the CV number from them. So we had to ask MITRE instead. After the long discussion, MITRE finally got Zycel to issue a CV number. So it took some work, but it happened. And like we said before, vendor only lists the model we report. And after those CVEs came out, we found even more models with the same bug and firmware. But vendor only lists the one model we report, and the rest were left out. So what did we do? We filed a new CVE just for the other models. And if the company won't warn user, and they will. Okay. And sometimes vendors say, we don't think this is a real vulnerability, but please don't make public. So it's not a problem. But we can talk about it. Why? Okay, that doesn't make sense. And in this case, we report a vulnerability in the 2024, but the vendor responds that it's already fixed on 2025. Okay. The release note contains all the fix, but the release note is internal document, and it will not public. What? Okay. And in other case, we wait almost a year for response. Security issues don't age like the wine. They don't get better with age. So that all year, it was a 0 day, and users were in danger. And we had a case that lasted over 3 years, just because the vendor never replied. And no reply means no patch, no advisory, and nothing. We could have gone public, but we always give vendor a chance first, sadly. And this time, silence was all we got. Okay. And here's a funny one. A vendor asked us to test their product, but want to sign a very broad NDA. And their message was clear: find bug, but don't tell anyone. With the NDA, problems are hidden instead of fixed. And it's very easy, just like this. Okay. And let's finish up. We covered the firmware, hidden backdoor, slow vendor replies, and declare issue. So what can we do next? And let's talk about how the vendor, government, users, and research can help improve IoT security. Okay, for the manufacturers, don't leave secret backdoor or hardcore password. And if you want to have them, protect and document them. And have a clear process to handle bug and reply fast. And security should be the habit, not just a feature. And work with research, not against them. Okay. And service ports are not the problem. Hidden vulnerabilities. Okay. For the government, make vendor list all service and debug ports. Enforce a rule against hidden backdoor and slow patch. Support good way for the reporting bug, and teach both the developer and the leader about the security, and work with other countries because the IoT is global. Okay, for the user, remember device can have hidden feature, sometimes risk ones. Buy from a vendor who care about security and open mind, and up your firmware when you can, and report everything strange to the vendor or to us. Okay, and stay informed and always be careful. Okay, for the hacker. Okay, and look for hidden backdoor and the security channels. Report bug responsibly. Don't exploit them, and help others see the risk of the bad maintenance. And work with the vendor and the government to fix things. And always put user safety and privacy first when sharing what you found. Okay, here's today's summary. And hidden the backdoor are a big risk and shouldn't be ignored. And handling bugs the right way to help everyone, and be open, working together, and taking responsibility make IoT safer. And we can protect user and build trust only if we all work together. Okay, this is all of our talk today. Thank you very much.